Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to what is a really special and powerful session of the IMAA, an extraordinary webinar that we're having today. This one that's a little bit out of our regular Mondays. This one we're talking about reconciliation and the journey that that we've been on, and it's an important day because it's the start of NAIDOC week, which is a Friday, which starts here, which I don't really understand, which I was talking to Fags about why does it start on a Friday, but it starts today. So it's important where we share where we're at, what we're doing as a community and as a sector, and how we can all be part of it. I'd like to introduce Steve Fagan, who is chair of our Reconciliation Council. Fags does and also a leader of the IMAA, does a wonderful job. He does it not for out of the love of his own heart. He's an amazing human being, despite what people say about him. He's an absolute legend of the industry, and we're very lucky to have him steering this committee. We've also got Alastair from Impaja, who's also working on the project with us, coming in from NT. So hello, Alastair. And then we've also got, I think, everyone from the Working Committee of Reconciliation with the IMAA. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Fags to run us through a presentation, and I will share screens.
Thanks, Sam. So I guess we'll open with the acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation, the IMAA acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their leaders, past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. As Sam touched on in the introduction, it's been quite a journey since we presented to you in February this year, and it's an enormous team effort. And the acknowledgement I want to shout out right now is to Beck Colson, who has been enormous behind the scenes in pulling together our RAP plan, and we'll touch on that shortly, but that's by no means an enormous task. And Alistair Feehan from Impaja, who's been able to help us navigate with some action around how we can contribute to the community, which we'll go through in more detail down the track later on in the presentation. But it's been a busy couple of months. We're literally almost ready to press the button on our RAP submission. We're still chasing down a large number, in fact 50% of our agency partners, to sign on to the charter, the Reconciliation Charter. We met Wednesday with our Reconciliation Working Group, whom we'll acknowledge in a minute. We've created a website, and we've indigenized the IMAA logo, which you saw at the front there. So, and importantly, we've made a commitment to the Impaja Make a Difference program and aligned with a project up there. So without further ado, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Our working group, the mob, we'll shout out to Beck and Thomas, Sue, Claire, Tim, Renee, Justin, Georgia and Felicity. We welcome them on board, and we'll be active participants over the course of the next 12 months. So really looking forward to their contribution. Sam, if we can move across. So in terms of reconciliation, the goals were to influence, educate and take tangible action. In terms of influence, we really want to, as an agency or independent agency community group, really lead the way in terms of the advertising market. And by being part of the charter, we're endorsing our commitment to playing that active role. And from an education perspective, we've created that hub, which will go live on the website in the next couple of days, which is an opportunity for all of us to tap into, to see what activities are coming up. As Sam mentioned, we're at the commencement of NAIDOC Week this week, and there's a lot of opportunities to participate, be it through your local community. I've went to an education program on Wednesday night with my daughter's school, where there's an Indigenous speaker there to help celebrate and recognise NAIDOC Week. So, education is listening in many regards. So the tangible action is our commitment to the Make a Difference program, which is an amazing opportunity for many of us to participate with, if we've got the opportunity to support, via a spend on Impartia TV, or there's a means through a charitable donation, which will be tax deductible. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, and I think further on that, Fags, as well, I think as an indie, reconciliation is a hard thing to navigate, full stop. Where do you start? I think that what we're trying to do here is put everyone underneath kind of an umbrella and kind of help and show and guide how we can all be a part of it. And particularly as well, like most modern tenders, you need to kind of also tick off reconciliation as well. So for a multitude of reasons, it's very, very important we're all across this. Let me just change slides.
Yep. With the reconciliation plan, or with the RAP plan in itself, I think we got to 4 or 5 revisions. It's not one where you complete and it's approved straight up. And with Al's guidance, he was able to put us in contact with a really good resource within Reconciliation Australia, and we're able to get some really good direction in terms of completion there. So that will be, for those of you who have signed the charter, we're actually just getting that plan indigenised itself. It'll be a beautiful presentation, encapsulated in Indigenous artwork and meaning. So we'll be able to share that with you in the next week or two. Within the RAP plan, we've made a commitment to education and influence where possible, and that can be conversations with your clients and media partners, and then as we mentioned, and we'll present to you very shortly, the opportunity with King's Narrative. So thanks, Sam. Reconciliation Charter, you will have all received correspondence in February, and then again more recently by Sam or myself to participate in this. There's numerous benefits for the businesses. I've just recently submitted a tender where there's a call out for a RAP plan, and the ability to hand on heart say that you signed a charter of reconciliation, which includes a RAP plan, is a great benefit and an additional resource to your business. So if you haven't done so already and you've lost the email trail, just shout out to Sam, Becky, Tiana, or myself, and we'll certainly get one there for you. Here are all the agencies that have come on board. So we're currently sitting at 50%. It was 48% the other day. So it's good to see another couple come on board in the last couple of days, and hopefully out of today we'll be able to pull some more up. We embarked upon one of the journeys was to indigenize our logo, and we're able to engage the services of a storyteller down here in Melbourne by the name of Dixon Patton from Bayula Creative, and he's, I think, really nicely or beautifully pulled together our logo in terms of the story sticks and the ability to assist us in telling our story. So thanks, Sam.
Thank you. And the reason why I like this as well, Fags, is that these are story sticks, and what we are as a sector are storytellers to an effect. And And that's why it's kind of such a nice story that aligns what we do as an industry with the artwork and the logo.
So you'll see this logo out this week, and if anyone wants any more information on the I guess the production of this and manifestation, shout out, because Dixon's more than happy to share his learnings and teachings along the way. The Education Hub, the link will be up very shortly. It's an amazing resource. It'll provide the opportunity to tap into important information, dates. It'll actually have the RAP plan there for us. It'll build out there, Sam, in terms of opportunities. Supply Nation directory is a fantastic resource if we actually want to engage services from the Indigenous community, be it through catering or creative services, or as Sam often refers to, copy paper instead of eating Officeworks. There's other supply chains to be able to tap into. In terms of the Make a Difference program, I think we started conversations almost 6 months ago with Impaja, and I've got to say, it's been one of the, in my 30 odd years in the business, probably one of the most gratifying pieces of work outside of launching campaigns is to be able to pull this together. The Make a Difference program is a program, I guess, founded by Alfian and the team up in Alice Springs, and there are opportunities to participate in many programs. And it was really a difficult process for us to find out, or to, I guess, come to which particular cause or direction we were going to take our support. And after speaking with Al and some of his contemporaries up there, we actually visited, Sam and Ant, myself, visited Alice Springs a couple of weeks ago and met with a gentleman by the name of Tyson Carmody. And he's founded a program that helps and assists Indigenous male youth. For the main part, they're troubled or incarcerated, and he's created an outreach program to help mentor and nurture them back to the community, because a lot of them have been traumatized over the years via domestic violence or being in an environment where crimes are committed and the like. So the Make a Difference program in and of itself is a means where if you have a client that is advertising through regional South Australia and up into Western Queensland and parts, you can quarantine 10% of the budget. You still towards the Make a Difference program, you still receive 100% of the value of your committed budget, which is fully commissionable. But that 10% sits in a trust fund that goes towards the King's Narrative program. So we've already got $4,000 quarantined from a $40,000 campaign that Mark O'Brien from St. Mob Media has committed to, which is fantastic. I've got a client that's about to sign off on another $35,000 campaign over the next couple of months. So one could say we're off to a flying start without having officially launched it today. So that's a really good start from our perspective. Yeah. So,
and I think to that, Fags, as well, I think it's important to recognise that we looked at this for a long period of time and a lot of consultation with a guy up there called Paul Arche and also Alistair. And the government's been throwing money at this generational problems for years, and what we've identified here is a project that can actually change people's lives. It actually, it's by the people for the people. And we're going to have a bit of a look at it now, and I'll give you a bit of feel of what they're trying to do. I'll just play the video.
Living in Aboriginal communities presents challenges that most Australians will never have to experience. The essential services you take for granted, such as health and well-being, disability, education, housing, food security, and employment opportunities, are not always afforded to Aboriginal communities. Aboriginal people are the most disadvantaged people in this country, and the gap is not closing. We experience ongoing intergenerational trauma, which leads to higher rates of suicide, deaths from preventable diseases, lower life expectancy, displacement, and significant loss of culture. Our sons are statistically more likely to end up in prison than at university.
IMAA is honoured to have partnered up with IMAA to make a difference in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's lives. We believe our community project with King's Narrative is the first step in the right direction.
The main purpose of King's Narrative is having a space for our men to heal. Our men need to take their place back in their families and on their country as we play a vital role in the health of our families. When men begin to heal, this healing will flow onto our communities.
Our hope is that as an independent media agency, you will embark with us, IMAA and King's Narrative, on a journey of reconciliation.
Together, we can create our stories of hope, of pride, of culture, and a story of healing. Tomorrow is up to us.
It's really powerful stuff. That's really the community out there. Al, can we just
Living
get
in
you to talk to? We'll introduce Al without notice, just to maybe talk a little bit about the communities out there. I think some of that imagery that we saw up front. There's probably a thought that everyone's living in relatively nice houses up there, and the community gets about by itself, but that's not really the case. 100, 200, 500 kilometers out from town, is it?
No, that's it. Look, it's a pretty different world, guys. Just by way of background, I'm a Sydney Melbourne bloke who came out here for 3 years, 19 years ago, and have just been caught up in this amazing experience, which I probably should say I'm quite privileged to have experienced. Look, from an Indigenous point of view, you go to these communities, all the things we take for granted in terms of water, basic schooling, education, basic health resources, those things. I mean, you get to some of these communities and the closest hospital's 1,000 kilometres away. It's just a different world. And the reality has been is that for the last 50 years, primarily any resource that's been put in a community has been at the direction of government, and government have decided what would go on there without a great deal of consultation with the people of the community. So one of the things that when we started this was to say, okay, well, hold on, how do we make this actually work for people so that you've got something that as a group you can own, that you guys can follow, and we'll make sure that as things happen, we'll get you video content, we'll get you all those bits and pieces. We wanted you to have something that you can own and be proud of, where you actually know you're making a difference. So it was a case of consultation with communities as to what they need, or consultation with, I suppose, people like Tyson to say, okay, where are you at in this cycle, and how do we change it? Without going too far into it, look, you'll read things out here. I mean, we quite often at this point in time, we have kids as young as 4 and 5 out in the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning. And why they're not at home is for the fact that they're safer on the streets than they are in their own family homes. So there's a whole lot of issues that sit around this. From a men's perspective, in 2006 we had the intervention, and basically every man in Northern Territory was accused of either being a pedophile, a rapist, a drunkard, pornographer. I mean, the whole thing was just got out of hand. So these poor guys have lost that sense of themselves. They've lost their culture, and Tyson, to his credit, is saying, okay, we need to rebuild that. We need to, even now, these men won't take their kids anywhere because they're accused of they're afraid they'll be labelled as being something they're not. So the reality of the situation is that what you guys are doing is probably, I've got to say, probably one of the most important projects I've seen in the centre for Aboriginal people, and I suspect that what will happen as this progresses, this will move around the country. Steve, what else is there? Look.
No, I think you've summarised it perfectly. Thanks, Al. It's sort of to have seen it firsthand, and I think we'll show some photos in a minute of when we're out at Black Tank Land. The importance of electricity or solar power, to be able to generate the power to supply water, and Tyson was at pains to say that was a part of Paddy Mills, our Boomers captain, coming out and through his foundation helping get solar power into some of these communities. So there's a long way to go, but any I guess funds that we can help bring to life will certainly support Tyson in his quest to start healing. We got a message from Tyson there, Sam.
Good day, everybody. Tyson Carmody here, Managing Director at King's Narrative. Firstly, I want to thank you all for this opportunity to be part of Make a Difference program, and I'm sorry that I can't be there live with you today. I just wanted to give a quick message out to say thank you, but also a bit about the support and why the support is really needed. Unfortunately, we can't hide away from it. The stats in the territory alone are not very flattering. Our men are incarcerated, they're in jail more than everybody else. The Youth Detention Centre is 100% Indigenous, with around 90% of that, 95% of that young males. And it's the same in the bigger prisons. Our health services, our social services are stretched. Women are living with high rates of domestic violence. And this is all coming from our men, because our men are hurting, are traumatised, and they don't have a space where they can get that healing, to unpack that trauma in a culturally safe space without judgment. Because if we need to heal the community, we need to heal our men, and this support through Make a Difference program will go a long way to helping make that happen. So thank you.
When we met with Tyson out in the land, and there's some photos coming up now, listening to Tyson and his family, his sister and his partner, talk about the trauma that the males have endured over the last couple of decades. The ability to not connect with their kids is just so traumatic. And I guess as a father myself, that's heavily involved in their kids' education and sports and life and holidays and passing of traditions, it's no different than your dad teaching how to kick a footy or fish, or your grandma sort of cooking apple pie or hand down recipes. That there's been a massive disconnect here, and Tyson's trying to slowly but surely help connect some of those traditions back into into society. So we were out in the land for a day. I think we're about 100 odd K out and inland, and there's some photos of us there producing or making bush medicine, which works. It's a combination of one of the native plants out there, and I'm busy there crushing that, and it's put into a vat with olive oil and boiled up or fried up, and then mixed in with beeswax, and it creates a balm. This one's for colds and flus, but there's aches and pains. There's many plants out there which help the whole raft of remedies to ailments there. Sam's playing with a kangaroo tail, which I think he was scraping that clean before it was put in into coals for a good hour and a half, hot coals there before we sort of cracked into the local delicacy there. So kangaroo tail's very sticky, and as Tyson's son said, it's best with salt. So and lots of it. So we're hoping that through the program that we can get a raft of these bush medicines produced that we can share with our media partners and clients. So we'll start that facilitation over the next couple of months.
And as well, Fags, we will also be putting the link onto the bush medicine onto our before mentioned reconciliation hub for if any of the agencies want to give client corporate gifts away or buy some for themselves, there'll be a link to do it as well.
And then that's about it, really. I think we're just going to wrap up with just a summary of, I guess the benefits of being part of the Reconciliation Charter. For us as the IMAA group of agencies, it's certainly an actionable, and I can attest to that. Recent tender submissions. It does help us become an employer of choice. We sit back and reflect and think about these things. The ability to support the King's narrative, and if you don't have clients that are TV clients or have activity in that part of the country, we can accept tax deductible donations. So that's all within our means. There's a badge to promote the involvement within our program. And more importantly, and Sam set this up at the beginning, is we want to make our independent sector one of shared values, and particularly when it comes to reconciliation, we've got Beck chairing the other committees in terms of gender diversity and the like, so we can all come together and pull this, make us a really sort of important sector there. Finally, Sam, what's coming up? We've got a trade press launch on Monday, so keep an eye out for that. Please share that on your socials and LinkedIn pages, and your business newsletters and the like. There's a raft of various events during Reconciliation Week. I went to one with my kids' school on Wednesday night. The school footy team brought in a former Indigenous footballer who quite eerily, I guess it's not eerily, but reiterated a very similar sort of message that Tyson, has conveyed, that he's from up in Darwin, and the community up there, experience the same issues. So it made our kids, who are quite privileged, sit back and really take notice of, as well as the adults, I guess, of the challenge that is still going on in our backyard. There's the SBS Inclusion Program. They've come to the party with a discounted rate there if you want to do something for your staff. NAIDOC Week through the first week of July there, and I guess we're working on a visit, a station tour of Impaja, and a visit out to the land, Black Tank Land, sometime this same time next year. So Al's and his wife are great hosts. We won't all fit in his spare bedroom, but it's a great opportunity to come and experience it. And I think Sam will work with Tyson in terms of a program. If we do have the numbers there, sort of into 2023. So that's been a busy 5-6 months from our end. Look forward to as much support as possible. If you haven't signed up to the Reconciliation Charter, please get onto that sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Fags. Just kind of encapsulating everything, I spoke to Tyson and his partner Jess 2 nights ago, and they have also extended the welcome to any of the participating parties, if they're up in the Northern Territory, Alice Springs area, to come out and check it out, see it firsthand, because it is, being involved with this project is possibly the most powerful thing I've ever done in my life. It's been absolutely unbelievable. To Fags' words, if you guys haven't signed up, you want to know more about the charter, please do so. The website is now live today, so the go button is also check it out after this at the imaa.com.au. So check out that and check out the videos, share it. And to my correction before, Nanook Week is in July. It's the 3rd of July. This is Reconciliation Week. So my bad on getting that incorrect from the very, very start. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in and kind of being part of the journey. Thank you to Fags for chairing it. Thank you to Al for being a facilitator to the charity, and also, extending your resources so we can actually donate. Remember, guys, that if you are going to advertise in Pago, it doesn't make a difference to the bottom line. It just means you allocate something to something that's going to make our industry and our world a better place. Thank you to the guys that participate in the working group. They're starting now to get their hands a little bit dirty with the wrap, and then we'll share with you the wrap once it's finally completed and the journey. So thank you very much, everyone, for participating. Have a great week, and any questions, please just reach out. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Well done.
Everyone.
Thanks.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Fags.
No worries, Sammy. Where are you off to for a bite to eat now?
Mate, it's at my desk.
Ham sandwich?
Humble pie, or as always. I might share this video up on LinkedIn now. All right, old son. I will talk to you soon. Thank you, everyone. Talk soon.
See you, buddy.